lasted longer.
Yeah.
I like myself framed with the pretty light from the back so they can see the insinuation of me,
Yeah.
but not actually see a full picture of me. That I like. That I like. That I like, Holmes. That I like. Salud. ¿Cómo se va? Can't fix what's not broken. Oh, it's broken, buddy. It's a broken. I think we all know it's broken. Finally picked up the Outer Worlds because it's on sale. I'm enjoying it so far. And Amelia's playing that again right now.
Yeah. I guess
Just
they
running through it.
confirmed Outer Worlds 2 not too long ago.
Oh, really? You don't want to be here? I can kick you out if you want. I got the power. I have the power. Playing New World, fun game, cool PvP. That's the Amazon one, right? Yeah, New World. Amazon's answer to World of Warcraft. I tried it out and was pretty bored with it pretty quick. Yep. It has all the MMO rules I hate. Consensual PvP only, fetch quests, grinding, endless, unfun shit. It's just got everything about it that I don't like. So it's just not made for me. It's definitely like, I will tell you this, they're making a snipe at the World of Warcraft subscriber base because I know that that's been suffering for years. Slowly but surely, World of Warcraft has been doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And precious few companies have tried to like make new ones, like new MMOs, because it's such an expensive development process. But yeah, I played the game enough to see what the core gameplay loop is, and the core gameplay loop is grind, 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 grind. Like it's literally just run out, kill 10 rabbits, come back, turn in the quest, get another quest, go out, kill 10 zombies, come back, turn in the quest. Go out, mine 10 fucking things and bring back the stuff and turn in the quest and go out and fucking kill this and turn in the quest. It's just, ugh. It's just like a autopilot kind of game for me. It really does. There was a game, I'm trying to remember the name, Lineage 2, that took this bot program that somebody made for it and made it part of the game. Where it's like, you can just hit a button and your character will go do all that shit. Like, you hit a button and they'll go grind. You know what I mean? You can just like tune in and watch it every once in a while, and then if you want to play, you can pick it up. And it's just like, man, that's a sad commentary on the state of these fucking games.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I probably would have played New World a little longer if they had that option. I might have played it on release if they had that option.
Like, how long do you think is reasonable to get to like full power in a game? Like reasonable power where you can like kill a bunch of baddies and shit.
In those types of games, like you're talking to MMOs, it's longer. Like it should be a long time. It should be take an investment to get to the point where you're like ultra badass. And then those types of games have to have like normal single player games. That's the gameplay cycle. You go from wimp to pimp, and that's it. But these MMOs, that's step one. You go from wimp to pimp, and then they've got to have tons of stuff for you to do as a pimp to slowly but surely get even more pimpier. And then when enough of the player base is done with that shit, they got to add more, and they got to add more, and they got to add more, and they got to add more. Needs an actual main story objective. Yeah, the main story, like this whole like New World thing, they tried to put this main story into it, and it seemed a little interesting. It was like they discover some island So it's set in like medieval times, and some island is discovered that nobody ever returns from, or whatever the fuck. It's got the storm around it, and you're on a ship that's going to explore that. I was like, this is kind of cool. You know, kind of a cool setup for the game. And then you get there, and it's just like drops you on the beach with a bunch of quest markers. And I was like, oh. So it's just literally like, oh, go to the first little area, pick up a quest, go kill crabs on the beach, come back, he gives you a sword. It's the same game. I'm just sick of that shit. Games, like MMO games back when I was into them, like heavily in their early days, were about allowing you to decide what it is you wanted to do with your character and when. How you wanted to develop your character was completely up to you. If you wanted to be a lumberjack, you went out and chopped trees. If you wanted to be a swordsman, you went out and stabbed stuff. And the more you did that, the better that skill got. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I don't know, I don't like the World of Warcraft style of video gaming. It just doesn't hit me. I don't enjoy it. Yeah, Ultima Online was like the template for that shit. EverQuest was another one. Like EverQuest kind of led directly to World of Warcraft. It's a little more structured than Ultima was, but it still gave you wide latitude as to how you developed your character, and when you did things. There wasn't like some path of questing you had to follow. Just went out into the world and punch things until you get better. I always get bored with those sorts of games because it feels like you've done everything you can do early on. Yeah. Well, a lot of them, that's true. A lot of them, once you get through your first little dungeon, you've basically seen everything the game has to offer. Every gameplay thing that the game has to offer. It's not going to get any different. It's just going to get more flashy as time goes on, and you're going to get better armor, and your character's going to look cooler. But you're going to be doing the same 10 things the entire game. Fly over here, complete a quest, get a dungeon group together and go clear the dungeon out, and then do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And there are some people that really get hooked by that kind of play style, but what hooked me about that kind of open, massively multiplayer game was the fact that I was doing my own thing, and so was everybody else. And when you ran into a person, there was a real sense of tension, because it was like, all right, are you just here doing what I'm doing, or are you here to kill people who are doing what I'm doing? Or vice versa. Just for a heads up, if I read your question and it literally makes me scratch my head like an orangutan, I'm just going to ban you. If you post absolute nonsense, I'm going to be the one to do it too. I'm just going to fucking ban you. Nonsense, gobbledygook, fucking apropos of nothing bullshit.
By the way, the hi Paul window is passed.
What?
Like the comments that are just like hi Paul.
Oh yeah.
Window is passed now.
Yeah. We're a good 10 minutes into the stream, so you shouldn't be greeting me. You're late. Okay? You don't walk into your class fucking 10 minutes late and go, "Hi, teacher." All right? You treat me with respect and dignity. Hi, everybody. What's going on today? Class? Any plans for more Crusader Kings 3? Yeah. I like the game. I just don't want to burn myself out on it, and I've been obsessed with another game recently. But unfortunately, it's a game that people are not real interested in watching me play, so that's fine by me. I'll just play it on my own. I have just as much fun playing it on my own. How would you make an MMORPG if you had the money? I mean, I've talked about this before. There's a number of settings that I'm interested in that I think would make a good setting for an MMO. The two that interest me the most are cyberpunk kind of setting, like a fucking Deus Ex kind of universe, or a Western MMO. So I really love the idea of having a Western MMO that lets you. And I'd say I don't know if this one would get made because of like the possibility that people would get all butthurt about the political sensitivities of it. But I would like an MMO, an Old West MMO, where you got the chance to make any kind of character you wanted. Like if you wanted to be an American Indian, you could do that. If you wanted to be like a more tribal, warlike American Indian that was trying to like take a stand to defend territory, you could do that. If you wanted to be one of the American Indians that was like more open to trade with the white settlers, you could do that. You wanted to be a white settler and fucking be a sheriff of a little player-run town, you could do that. You want to be an outlaw that robs stagecoaches or holds people up on the road, you could do that. To me, it's like, oh, thank you, honey bear.
I figured that soda was almost gone.
Yeah, it's getting low enough. Can you flick on that light for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bless them with your face tonight.
Oh, yeah, I don't like doing the dark streams unless I'm feeling like in the mood for one. Maybe I'll turn the light off later.
Be grateful, y'all. Blessed by the pole.
Blessed by the face. I just imagine like a system where it's like, okay, let's say that you're a merchant, right? Like let's say that you decided to play a game where you want to be like a guy that runs supplies out to these little outposts that players have set up out in the wilderness and shit. Dangerous job, but a lucrative one. And let's say that a group of players robs your little stagecoach or some shit, right? Well, there would be some kind of mechanism in the game with which you could report that crime to the nearest major city and get like wanted posters made of the people that did it. And then there would be player bounty hunters like that would come along and go into these bigger cities out in the frontier and look at the wanted board and be like, oh, okay. And they've got special skills that allow them to maybe find out from NPCs in the area some clues about where that person was last seen. And you've got bounty hunters coming after you trying to collect the price on your head and shit. I mean, I think it would be fucking amazing. All the little cities, except for some major ones on the eastern, border of the frontier, are player run. So you want to have a shop in a city, you go to the city council or whatever, rent a lot, set up your little leather making place or your gunsmith or whatever the fuck. Would there be banditos? Of course. Yeah, dude. Smoke signal could be a skill. Smoke signal. Who knows? So let me preempt some other types of questions as well. A bad question to ask me is, Paul, did you hear about? Because unless it's like Tuesday or Wednesday, the answer is always no, which means that there's literally nothing else to do. There's nothing else for me to say. I haven't heard about the story. I don't read the news daily. I don't care to read the news daily. And I'm not going to give a hot take on a 5-line post that somebody put in my chat. Yeah. So it's always a bad question. Have you heard about? So check your watch the next time you want to answer one of those questions, or your calendar. Thank you, Tucker. And if it's not Tuesday or Wednesday, there's a really good chance that I haven't heard a fucking thing about a fucking thing. and that you're just wasting your fucking keystrokes typing up a fucking paragraph asking me, have I heard about? I do not indulge in news but once weekly.
And there was a whole conversation going on.
Yep.
You just interrupted it. Your stupid town crier shit.
Yep. It's the only way that I'm able to do it. Back when we first started doing Flash Fried and shit, I would read the news, every day a little bit. It got to the point where I just couldn't do it. I can't sit down and do an in-depth 2-hour fucking look at all the news that's happened in the last week and then do that in my free time as well. So it's way more mentally healthy for me to just ignore 99% of what goes on. If there's some huge fucking story, I'll probably hear about it. But little things, medium thing, I don't look at the news. So I couldn't tell you. Doesn't make for great content on these, asking me about the news, because I have no impetus to talk about the news here. Think about it. If it's Tuesday or Wednesday, I either just talked about the news on Wednesday or I'm about to talk about the news on Wednesday, and I want you to come watch me do that. So even in those little time frames, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm probably not going to talk about a bunch of newsworthy shit. Yes, I agree. Being all up in the news all the time is depressing and disconcerting.
Unless there's capybara news. If there's capybara news, you can let Paul know.
Yeah, you want to ask me about Cappy news? I probably already know. If you want to talk to Paul about the news, wait until post Flash Fried Highdeology. Even then, it's a bad idea most times, because I'm just going to go like, I just talked about it. Go watch Flash Fried. I don't want to relitigate something I just did on Flash Fried either. Like, Highdeology has never really been about, let's ask Paul about the news of the day. I would love for you to go and find any kind of pattern in fucking Highdeology where it's that. Sometimes we'll talk about ultra big breaking news, giant fucking stories and shit. But very, very fucking rarely. I mean, if you look generally at what this is, it's just kind of conversational banter. We talk a lot about entertainment. We talk a lot about philosophy here. And that tends to be the bent from which Highdeology comes. So I think a lot of you would do way better to maybe think in those lines. Because otherwise, it just doesn't happen. Try socket, oof. Thanks, shitty economist, for the $5. No, we got literally one, maybe hour of rain. We got 1 hour of rain 2 days ago, and there hasn't been a cloud in the sky since.
Yeah, it was early in the morning too, so immediately evaporated as
Yep.
soon as the sun came up.
I got up that morning, and it probably had ended within half an hour when I got up, and the air smelled great. That it just rained smell, that kind of dank, a little bit dusty, watery smell, and then it's all gone, dude. It wasn't even enough water to sprout new life.
I know, it's we didn't get any weeds trying to make a move for it or nothing.
No, it was like a sprinkle, bro.
Yeah.
It was like a little sprinkle.
Pretty much the most water was where our gutters are.
It puddled up over here a little bit, but dude, this ground is so thirsty that
it just went.
Thirsty ground. Any recommendations and great philosophers? Sure. Read the Trial of Socrates. That's what got me into philosophy, is reading Plato's The Trial of Socrates, I think it's called. Really interesting foundational philosophical work if you've never really read anything. Never really been into that shit. It's really like ultimately Socrates defending his right to ask people uncomfortable questions and to think outside of the human box and to think outside of the paradigm philosophically that had been kind of established, to examine people psychologically. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
I had a teacher that actually had us do a whole unit on the Socratic method. We do Socratic circles and shit.
Yeah, Socratic dialogues and stuff. Really basic level philosophy, but really interesting what you learn about people. Did Origin of Boogers ever respond to the epic poundage you gave him on the Patreon Live? If he did, I don't know.
I think he did. I think someone sent it to him, and he was just
I have boogers. I swear, yes, I do wipe boogers. I don't know. What's he going to say? I didn't make a contention he could really argue against. Oh, God, I remember having to do Socratic seminars. They're actually fun to me. What do you think your Twitter space thing ended abruptly earlier today? Oh, some fucking thing happened. They're not great. I sent the feedback. So, my Twitter glitched out, and when I open, obviously if your Twitter app closes and you're running one of those, it shuts it down. And I was pissed off. I was just like, fuck. So I just deleted the post and went inside. That's I think once of 2 times that's happened to me, and it's really annoying. So Twitter needs to, if they're gonna I assume if they keep this feature, that they'll add the ability for people to come and go out of them, create more like a room that persists whether I'm paying attention or not.
Well, what's weird is it doesn't end if your phone dies. Remember that one space, his phone died and everyone just thought that he left?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was weird.
Phone dies, circle stays on.
Yeah.
It crashes, circle closes.
It happens on fucking the YouTube app too.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'll be in the middle of one of these, the app will crash, and I'll come back and it'll let me start it again. Go to the same stream and just start streaming again. But sometimes it's just start a new stream. I'm just no. But the old stream will hang around forever, and there's no way for me to end it.
I think TJ's Last Abandoned Hope did that.
Yeah, just something crashed and it just
forever.
persisted. It's I would tune in. I tuned in and it started playing, and I thought, okay, it's live, and then it just ended, and I was like, and I reloaded it, and it started playing that last little 5-second interaction, and then boom, it was just stuck in a loop.
There were still, I think, 40 people there just chatting amongst themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be cool if Twitter were to put something your app crashes, you come back in, the thing persists for a little while, and maybe people get a message this space will end in 30 seconds if the host does not return, or whatever the fuck. Because that's all it's more than what it would take for me to just reopen the Twitter thing and hit the button and rejoin my space. So yeah, it's kind of lame. I always feel bad because people are, having a decent conversation or whatever. I actually feel bad ending those in general, because there's no way for me to. They need to make a way for you to pass the space, pass the baton. Yeah. Be hey,
you can co-host. Maybe?
You can co-host, but it still remains your space. And if you leave, you're gone. I think. But
I thought I saw Socialist MMA start one, and then you can dip out, and it was still going, but maybe you didn't officially start it.
Maybe it is. I haven't co-hosted anyway. Maybe I'll try that next time. Because I kind of feel bad, because sometimes people, I'm phasing out of the conversation and getting ready to be done, but people are still going, and it's here, pass the baton to this dude and let him continue this space or whatever. It's raining here in Texas. Cool. If you're gonna run in Texas, can't be a liberal man. I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.
Dude, Ted Cruz funded that fucking crack investigator squad that identified the Zodiac killer.
Yep. You're gonna go find someone, see?
Dead.
This is Ted Cruz speaking. Yeah, there's a bunch of crazies running for... Dude, I hope you guys get Matthew McConaughey. Governor McConaughey, dude. Think about that. Think how awesome the state of Texas could be with Governor McConaughey. You know he's a pothead, so you know that the state's gonna he's gonna push to legalize weed. Boom.
Be the coolest fucking speeches.
They would be amazing. You would get like movie level Oscar performances for your like press conferences. Get it. Vote McConaughey or bust, bro. It worked for California, dude. We elected a movie star and it was okay, I guess. I mean, California didn't explode. It just kind of burned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fucking Enron just, like, made it, like, a fucking in-the-bag election.
Yeah, they did. That and it was Gray Davis versus Arnold Schwarzenegger. You saw how nerdy Gray Davis was. Like, his response to saying that, like, because Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, it's time to terminate Gray Davis. You know, he would use that line, and then Gray Davis would be like, well, we'll see what happens, you know. We'll see who gets terminated, I guess. It's just like, no, he never had a chance. Gray Davis never had a fucking chance, bro. He's too nerdy.
Fucking... If any people haven't seen The Smartest Guys in the Room, it's worth it. I think that's like the second time I watched it, and that's whatever time you watched it the last time.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with that documentary. I really like it a lot. Oh, well, Reagan too, man. We've had 2 movie stars. Oh yeah, dude. It was a crazy recall. You're right. There were some fucking crazy meme campaigns that happened. It's funny that people who think president is more important than the people we elect to Congress. It's just strange to me. Given how powerful the executive is, sometimes president, you know, can be more important than a congressional fucking sweep. The stroke of a pen fucking executive order shit, it's super powerful.
Yeah. I mean, and Congress is so divided now, it's like they can't really get anything done.
There's so much gridlock. It's just complete and utter partisan gridlock. And so, like, having the executive be able to, like, with the stroke of a pen, do some limited shit. Like, you know, Biden could end fucking student debt, executive order. Biden could federally deschedule marijuana, executive order. Like, not even, you know, it's just like executive orders have provided such wide latitude for presidents to do big sweeping things that, like, there's actually more of an onus on people to put pressure on the fucking president and let that trickle down to Congress than it is to try and pressure your individual Congress people.
That and the president has the big red button, so.
True.
Congress can't do shit about the big red button.
No, they can't. I guess they can, though, whatever it is, the 23rd Amendment or whatever, the fucking...
Yeah, but that
if
takes
the
so
president
long.
go crazy. Yeah, that takes too long. It's a lot quicker to press the button. Why won't Biden legalize bud? Because Biden is older than your grandma. Think about what your grandma's grandma thought about bud, and that's what Biden thinks about bud. Dude, my grandma thought bud was crack, basically. My grandma's grandma, she probably thought it was like some kind of fucking alien drug that these kids were doing and it causing rape and shit and murder. Biden literally comes from that generation. Maybe not my grandma's grandma, but you get the drift.
I mean, he's younger than my grandma.
I'm trying to think, how old would my grandma be? She died in 2002, and she was 70 or 71. So she'd be like 90.
Almost 90, yeah.
Yeah. So she'd be, she's just a little older than Biden. And my grandma thought that fucking weed was basically crack. So that's why Biden will never legalize weed, because we literally elected Paul's grandma to the presidency. Except my grandma's way nicer than Joe Biden. So it would have been a better vote.
And probably those drug companies are lining his pockets a little bit.
Of course. Well, I mean, and think about just how hugely powerful the police lobby is.
Yeah.
I mean, we know for a fact that something like 70 to 80% of war on drugs funding goes for marijuana enforcement. Mm-hmm. Now, that's probably changed since the legalization in multiple states, but you get my drift. Like, every one of these states that goes legal it has to fucking find a new way to get funding for a lot of its fucking police activities, because so much of that funding went to marijuana legislation, or marijuana enforcement, sorry. If you're gonna run in Texas, can't be a liberal man. You know what I miss most about Texas?
What?
The brand Texas Tough.
Yeah.
They have this absurdly overthick plastics brand called Texas Tough. These are Texas Tough glasses right here. Texas Tough makes ridiculously, like, I think other states have like rules against using that much fucking plastic for certain things. But Texas Tough, dude, the bags for Texas Tough, I used to have a roll of Texas Tough. I finally used them all. But that's what I used to dunk you guys in the toilet with when I would flush you. Because I trusted the Texas Tough. Texas Tough doesn't fuck around. It was like this baggy, but like probably twice as thick. Just like super strong bags.
I finally figured out why the fucking plastic bags in California are so thick. They're supposed to be reusable. Like, I saw there's like directions on one of them. Like, this bag is designed for 100 uses. I'm like, what?
Nobody's reusing them.
It's like, you can hang it upside down, wash it, and dry it. It's like, who's washing and drying plastic bags?
I mean, dude, I didn't know that they were meant to be that. Maybe now we'll never buy plastic bags again. We'll just start doing our plastic bag laundry. Yeah. You could probably just throw them in the dishwasher, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Fuck that. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah, it's like they're putting more plastic in the bags to make them quote-unquote reusable. Like, anyone's going to reuse a plastic bag.
That's unbelievable, dude. What a nightmare. We live in a nightmare-scape. We live in a literal nightmare-scape. once the tobacco industry gets their fingers into marijuana, like they even trying to do, I bet it will change. They got lobbyists by small operators, though. Yeah. Whatever.
I don't know if the tobacco lobby is like as powerful as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, this could make it. This is a good way for them to fucking consolidate, use what fucking value they do have as companies now, and heavily invest in marijuana and shit. You be buying Marlboro joints. That sounds kind of fucking dystopian to me, bro. Wasting more plastic to prevent wasting plastic. I mean, yeah, dude, it's what a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna do a plastic bag tax. Like anyone fucking gives a shit about an extra 10 cents a bag. Like any of those cashiers care enough to fucking input it anyways.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. A total nightmare. It's like, oh man, there's a big ass fire. Let's dump some gasoline on it. I will tell you this, not to change the subject, but earlier today when I was running that space this morning, part of me was glad that it fucking glitched out because the topic had turned yet again to the coronavirus. And I gotta tell you guys, dude, I know it's still a big deal. I'll have to talk about it on Wednesdays and shit, but I am so fucking overdone.
I think he actually avoided it last Friday, if I remember correctly. I think you guys managed to dodge it for the most part.
Oh my god, I'm so tired of talking about it. I'm so tired of talking about it. And it was just like, it's basically like this morning was basically like this Australian dude trauma dumping about what it was like to live in 100 days worth of lockdown in Australia, which just ended apparently. And I was like, I just don't. I don't even want to be. I don't want to talk about this.
It's just been so endlessly litigated.
Yep. There's a lot of like topics that I feel like people want to run into the ground, and I really hate that about human beings. I think it really stifles the discussion of the more esoteric stuff, stuff to think about, introspective kind of topics, because everybody is just so fucking addicted to not only discussing, but hearing other people discuss whatever today's topic is. The coronavirus, Taiwan, fucking China, Biden, Trump, whatever the fuck. It just gets so wearisome. And I feel like look at what we've done now. We started this off by having kind of a cool, fun conversation about, games and what kind of games we would make if money was no object and shit. And that was kind of fun. And it literally has morphed itself into a political conversation. And I feel like that there's an instinct in people to push. I'm not blaming anybody in here. I think everybody, I took part in it as much as anybody did, but well, I was reading an article. I was talking to Amelia about it earlier, and Jacobin, about how social media companies aren't fixing the problems because it's not profitable for them to fix it. So when the problems being how polarized things are on social media, how easy it is to troll people, and how kind of sanctioned it is to troll people, sometimes like with threats of violence and shit. Like all of these problems remain because it's unprofitable for Facebook and for Twitter and for YouTube to genuinely pursue these things. Because the truth of the matter is that these inflammatory comments and DMs and shit, they drive discussion, which puts more eyes on the content, which gives more opportunity for advertisement. And so it's profitable for them to keep people toxically, cyclically discussing something and drawing a line in the sand and standing on one side of it and putting other people on the other side of it. It's insanely profitable to corporations for us to talk about things like that and engage in that in social media. And really, it's a meaningless release valve for 99.9% of people. It's just like what you're providing is 15 seconds worth of rage that even if you don't get a ton of impressions, you're making impressions on the overall topic. So you're pushing that divisiveness. You're just another little tiny cog in pushing people apart. And I'm not saying you, me too. That's what I do on my Twitter. That's what it's designed for. I figured it out years ago that Twitter was designed to like make drama with people and be really fucking over the top. You know what I mean? And I've been using it that way ever since.
So it's like less incentive for you to have to actually crack down on misinformation. All the people sharing the misinformation are seeing ads while they're sharing it.
Right. They don't. And they make these little kind of like overtures towards that change by banning certain people affiliated with certain like the Q people or racist this or that or this. But overall, those people just return to the fucking platform and continue doing what they were doing. That's why we need actual legislation and congressmen who are knowledgeable about social media. Well, that's a huge part of this too. Look at a picture of fucking the Senate especially. It literally looks like a fucking AARP convention or some shit. It is ancient liver spotted people. These are people that like they've got to agree if there's to be meaningful legislation to change. It does. It looks like the fucking yearly dance at the old folks' home. I mean, fuck me, dude. It's a gerontocracy. You can't even convince these people that the internet is what it is. They don't understand it fundamentally. It's a series of tubes to them. It's bingo night, bro. It really is. It's bingo night on a senior's fucking cruise ship of the Mexican Riviera, dude. That's what it looks like. Fucking problem number one. Oh yeah, dude. Watching Congress like try and interview these tech people and ask questions that it sounds like your grandma asking you when you're explaining her how Facebook works. It's like fucking what a waste of time. You literally had Mark Zuckerberg, the head of in fact, not one of, the most giant social media company in the world with billions of users, okay, over 1 billion users. And you're asking him basic functionality questions about fucking how a post works or what. You're not getting into the meat of what his what is the implication of your company pushing these fucking false narratives. Dude, we need a fucking upper age limit like that for politics in this country. The fact that it doesn't exist is becoming more and more worrying. I've been ringing the alarm bell on this shit for fucking ever. Too many fucking people that are old. Dude, have you ever talked to an old person? I'm not saying they don't remain spry. Some of them do. But a lot of them don't. And you can tell that a lot of them that don't are still in Congress. Yeah, 65. If you are 65 or older, you can't even run for Congress. And the year that you turn 65 is your last year as a senator or a president or whatever the fuck. That's it. Yeah. Dude, you have to imagine there's tons and tons of people serving in the House and in the Senate and in state government who are on Alzheimer's medication, who are on dementia medication, medication to help try and slow their cognitive decline in one way or another. That should be worrying.
I mean,
These people affect what happens to you.
even if they don't have dementia, it's just like fucking natural decay. Their minds just physically can't be what they used to be in their 50s and 60s.
That's well known. That's not even disputed. People get slower, more reactionary, become more easily irritated. It just happens to people as they fucking age up.
It's like your fucking joints decay.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't anything else?
Dude, Joe Biden is literally like, it's elder abuse at this point. Like there are all these like little scuttlebutt reports coming out about how everybody in Joe Biden's fucking administration is aware of his cognitive decline, which has worsened since his election, and have come up with plans to limit his exposure and hide him behind Jen Psaki and keep him locked up and heavily coach him on all of his public interaction and speeches. It's elder abuse at this point. This dude needs to be in a home. He's in his fucking twilight years. His mind is going. You can see it in his eyes, dude. Look at, and this is the saddest shit that you can do, dude. Look at Joe Biden giving a speech from like the 1980s.
Or even the 2000s, honestly.
Just go back far, though. Go back and look at young Joe Biden, because I really want you to juxtapose the difference. Go find Joe Biden when he was a strapping young fucking 40-year-old dude. Okay? And then watch him talk. Look at the look in his eyes. Look at his body language. And then watch the last Biden speech. It's sad. The people that are covering up the elder abuse going on by saying, oh, he just has a stutter, that's fucking absurd. Look at his eyes. The eyes, dude, 90% of communication is nonverbal. Look at this motherfucker's eyes. Put them side by side. Maybe I'll do it the next time I do a desktop stream. We'll put two windows up on the screen. One of them Joe Biden when he was 40 and one of them Joe Biden yesterday. And we'll look at the difference. Because I've done it. I'm telling you, it's sad. He is scared. You can see the fear in his eyes. And that's how a lot of these old people look, because they realize what's happening to them over and over again. It's not like you're unaware that your mind can't access certain information, or that you can't remember what you just said. You don't know where you are in a sentence. You realize that. You just you can see that look, that's how Joe looks when he talks to the fucking, that's the look in his eyes right there. That's not a normal human look. Humans look like that when they are intensely afraid of something or confused by something. They don't know where they are. They don't know what happened. They don't know how to process what's going on in their mind. He is struggling every fucking day. And he's the leader of the free world, by the way.
Can you imagine, fucking the poor janitors in fucking Congress, all the depends and shit that are in there?
Dude, they've probably gotten used to it, because they had Trump in there, and I've seen pictures where Trump was 100% wearing a dido. Do you think he's a puppet for Kamala? No. I think Kamala is desperately trying to figure out, how do I be likable? In fact, it's known. She's engaged a bunch of private entities through the DNC, and right now they're working with her to try and rehabilitate her public image.
Yeah, we're going on The View and shit.
That was one of the things that they tried to do. She doesn't know how to be likable. She's a fundamentally unlikable person. And they're trying to train her how to have charisma, because she's fundamentally unlikable. And they're not sure how they're going to run her against Donald Trump or Tom Cotton. Anybody with a shred of fucking charisma and basic speaking ability. How are they going to run her?
Like, they picked someone that literally didn't even, like, finish the debates. Like, I think she dropped out for the last debates and shit.
It's like the DNC had it figured out for a second, follow the charisma with Barack Obama. There was just nobody on either side of the aisle that had anywhere near his fucking shine. And that's why he won. And it's like they forgot since then. Look at the people that have been lifted up by the DNC process. Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar. We're talking like desperately boring charisma sinkhole people. Cory Booker, the try-hard king. The king of sleazy charm, dude. That guy he has that fucking like used car salesman charm. Yeah. Everybody sees it. Everybody reacts negatively to it. He doesn't know how to stop doing it. Kamala Harris has this like, I'm way smarter than I really am complex, where she thinks that she's speaking like Dr. King, but she's just word salading at people. You know who's picked up on that style? AOC. Dude, there's a video of AOC standing out in front of like the protest in front of Congress, and she looked like she was wearing Kamala Harris's suit and doing the Kamala Harris style of super animated. She's a sinkhole, bro.
Yeah. Fucking, yeah, AOC was like, because.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, she's starting to do that, like, a thought never comes to completion.
Yeah.
Everything has to be like a run-on sentence now. The problem with the way things have been done in the past is that we have forgotten, because we have forgotten the lessons of what we were taught. And that because of that, we've come to this new... What? Just say something. Just say something. Be plain spoken. If you don't have the capacity to be grandiose, be plain spoken. I can't be super grandiose, so I'm plain spoken.
Yeah, it's like you showed me that one impression, and I was immediately like, no, not enough pauses.
Yeah. I just can't, dude. I can't. I cannot hang. All I know is it drives me a little nuts. All of it drives me a little crazy. See, I even rabbit holed down the politics fucking road. Look at me. At least it's an angle you don't normally hear. You don't normally hear people advocating for Joe Biden to be released from the elder abuse he's undergoing. You know? It doesn't matter, Ingrid. Ultimately, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't care if she was turned. I don't care if she was grifting from the start. I know she doesn't care now. She's fully gone. She's embraced the mainstream. She's Nancy Pelosi's little fucking lapdog now. She got chastised to the point of tears on the fucking House floor because Nancy Pelosi walked over in her pink pantsuit and pointed that old fucking mummified finger in her face and said, "Bitch, you're gonna vote how I fucking tell you." She's got no fucking spine. She's got no balls. She's got no... Doesn't have the courage of her fucking conviction. The ice-cold take is that Biden is a puppet of the deep state. The real truth is that Biden is the fall guy for a global control operation that has already happened. Okay. Whatever, dude. Whatever, dude.
Oh, Jason.
Jason the Gayson. And anyone who cries when Nancy Pelosi chastises them doesn't represent me. No confidence and all that. Yeah, no shit. It's like, you know what that video should have shown? Because she just sits there, too, just getting scolded like a teenager. And I'm like, aren't you a grown-ass woman? I would have stood up and said, bitch, get out of my face.
Or just walk the fuck away.
Yeah, shut up. Leave me the fuck alone. I already voted. Deal with it. But no, she sat there like this and went, and then went and changed her vote. Yeah, well, fucking believable. Who's scared of Nancy freaking Pelosi? Somebody who desperately wants to take her place, to be named. You know, the outgoing speaker has a lot of power in naming their successor. They don't get to directly name them. But if Nancy Pelosi takes out her little Glinda the Good Witch wand and taps AOC on both shoulders and says, this is the one, it's a good chance she gets it. So that's who's afraid of Nancy Pelosi waggling their finger. If Nancy Pelosi holds all of your ambition in the palm of her hand, your ambition was never to help the people in your district and to help people in the United States. Your ambition is now to please this haggard old witch that's been fucking everybody over for the last 20 years. How do you even make excuses for that anymore?
Like, she let her fellow squad members get, like, literal death threats for their no votes.
Yep.
And stand with them.
She got him anyway. She made the stupidest move ever.
Yeah.
She pissed everybody off.
Like, it would have been better if she voted yes.
Yep. Would have been better if she voted yes or no. Which, by the way, there's this amazing quote from AOC criticizing Tulsi Gabbard's present vote on some measure. I can't remember what it was. Where AOC says, you don't vote present. You vote yes or no. That's what you're there to do. It's disgraceful that she wouldn't take a stand. It was impeaching Trump. Yeah, you're right. And then here's fucking AOC doing it.
Because, like, to people on both sides, the present meant yes anyways, and the present meant no anyways, so.
Yep.
It's like, just fucking pick one.
Choose one already, for fuck's sake. What are you trying to fucking stoke here, Jason? Do you think people like Vosh your balls who call themselves leftists but still advocate for people to settle on moronic Democrat centrist war hawks are controlled opposition being paid? I don't know about the controlled opposition, but they're definitely being paid. Vosh makes a lot of money doing what he does. And I said it months and months ago. I think that Vosh has a lot of really good positions, but at the end of the day, when the chips are down, he advocates for liberal direct action. Direct action that feeds whatever DNC electoralism is going on. So pipelining people from the radical left to the neoliberal left. So you want to call that controlled opposition? That's up to you. I don't know that he necessarily is doing that on purpose, but looking at the output of his fucking channel, that's what he does. And for proof of that, just wait. In 2022, he'll be out there advocating for all the neoliberal people who are up for fucking losing their seats.
We'll put another fucking piece of shit half Democrat up against fucking Mitch McConnell again.
Yep. You know. And then in 2024, he'll be advocating for whatever fucking garbage heap neoliberal politician comes out of the woodwork.
Or Biden again.
Or I can't. There's no fucking way.
No, they're gonna try.
I can almost guarantee you that's not going to happen. I'm willing to make a bet with you right now. You and me. Let's see, what are we putting on the line?
I don't know. We're married. They're
I know.
betting.
How do you bet when you're married? All right. Loser has to sniff the other one's fart.
Yeah.
Has to sit down and take a fart in the face. Okay, so if they try and run Biden, next time, after that, the next time you got to bust a fart, I got to take it in the face.
Alright.
All right.
Vice versa.
It's a bet, and vice versa.
Yeah.
If they don't, if Biden just like goes on to the old folks' home, all right. It's a bet. It's really the only thing you can bet
Yeah.
as a married couple. Fetish bet? No. Neither one of us is fart sniffer fetishists.
No.
I don't think either one of us is overly grossed out by farts, but neither one of us is relishing the idea of taking a fart to the face.
Yeah.
It's definitely a punishment. Does anyone really win in that situation? Not really, but there's definitely, it's like the human centipede, right? It's like if the dude at the end that only like has to eat shit but doesn't get to shit in somebody's mouth is really getting the worst of it. He gets the end result of everybody else, you know? And the dude at the front, he's still in the human centipede, but he's not eating anybody's shit. He actually gets to eat the lasagna, you know what I mean? So it's like that. It's like the winner of the bet is going to be the front of the human centipede, and the loser is going to be the back. You'd call middle? Gross, bro. You're a disgusting freak, you. But middle has it better than the dude at the end.
Yeah.
The dude at the end is literally getting the like 15th processed poo.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even get to poop in anybody's mouth.
Yeah.
He just has to sit there in his own poo.
Yeah. And it probably struggles the most because it's the least nutritional value.
Yeah, it's like the shittiest shit, you know? Like he has to eat the shittiest shit. The shit that was shit that came out of one dude and went through another dude and became shit that went through another dude that became shit that went, you know what I mean? So the turd he's getting is the worst turd. You know? Definitely a position of power and a position of underclass on the human centipede. The ancestral duke. It's been passed down from like 5 generations before him, you know? It's fucked up dookie to have to eat, man. I would just like to say that whatever the person's name is that made that fucking franchise is a sick fuck to have come up with that. And I applaud them.
I gotta give props, too.
I give props. No, it works. It works so...
Because there's so many people that just watched it for like, what the fuck, is that even real? Yep, I guess it's a real movie.
Yeah. And it just goes on and on, too. It gets crazier and crazier, just adding more people to the centipede. Trying to create a loop. I remember there was one where it's like, he's trying to create an infinite loop of centipede. So he feeds one guy a big meal and then just closes the circuit and sees how long it can go. Oh my fucking god, bro. What the fuck, man? Oh man. I know they're really bad movies too. They really are. But whatever, you got to give props where they're due. Oh man.
You could make the game work for you.
I guess so. Oh,
But you know that's the other game? I think they're working on yet another Final Destination.
really?
Yeah.
It's got a great fucking. It's got a great formula to it, you know? It's like,
Yeah, I think the latest one was like prequel Final Destination or something. But no, that was the second one, wasn't it?
I can't remember how it works out. It's been so long.
They like did like a last the Final Destination, and then right after that they did Final Destination 6. And it's Final Destination 7 got greenlit.
Shit. We should watch another Final they're pretty good. Like they got a good formula. The whole people cheat death, so it opens with a big giant death scene. And then the person evades death with some of their friends. And then everything becomes ominous. It doesn't even need like a dude in the woods with a mask on.
Like some stupid soundtrack or anything.
No ghosts, no demons. It's all just like everything around them becomes, because you know that like some horrible accident could happen.
I blew your mind though when I told you it was based on like a real plane crash.
Dude, that's fucked up. The first Final Destination movie is based on an actual plane crash, like down to the fucking destination and everything. Like it was, and the way that it blew up. Like they took a real plane crash that had happened just like years earlier.
Yeah, like 4 years before the movie came out.
4 years before the movie came out, and just based the movie around that plane crash. It's like, whoa. Always scared of logging trucks because I watched that when I was a kid. Oh yeah, that one's really good. And yeah, you'll never look at a logging truck the same after you see that fucking opening to that final. I think is it 2 or 3 that has the big giant car accident on the freeway? It's crazy though. But yeah, you'll never pass a truck loaded up with logs again and not think about that movie. 3 was the roller coaster, you're right. Yeah. I mean, if you like, yeah, I would say, yeah, the movies are like half decent. None of them are great. Like all of them are pretty cringe. Like the first Final Destination has some super cringe 90s shit in it. Some like hyper manic pixie edgelord girl shit in it that'll just make you fucking cringe. Like, can't remember what her name is. Allison Mack.
Her name's Clear.
In the movie, no, it isn't Allison Mack, but
her name's Clear in the movie.
Clear. Yeah. Can't remember what the girl's name is. She was in a bunch of shit, but the fucking character she plays in Final Destination is so fucking unbelievably just like cringe-inducingly like edgy. Just like the darkness of my soul is speaking to me type of shit. Like literally that level of shit. So there's a lot of that in it, but what is good is the formula. The formula stays pretty fresh throughout the ones I've seen. I think I've seen through 4. So now I guess there's like 5, 6, and 7 I haven't seen. 7 in the works.
I gotta give them props. They did practical effects for that fucking plane explosion. They just made a mini fucking Boeing. And just
That's cool. It. That's super cool, though. Good for them. It looked cool. I mean, it made a cool effect.
Yeah, like the set was one of those that like moved and shit with the people in it. He's like, oh shit, I'm gonna make all the extras just puke their guts out.
Yeah. It was cool. I need to see that movie to understand the edge you're talking about. Yeah, watch the movie and you'll know. It's all dialogue based. Like her character is like this, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a template girl from the 90s. But I did, back then when it was culturally appropriate, it didn't hit like cringe, but now it really hits like cringe because the culture has changed away from it. But she was like that, like kind of pseudo deep, kind of goth character.
Yeah, like her biggest cringe moment is the sculpture she does to like represent him.
Oh God, yeah, she's sculpts. They're always like an artist, and nobody understands them, and you know what I mean? They speak in riddles, and like, it's just like, it was really attractive at one point for women to be like that. Like, that was in the 90s, that was an aesthetic. But it's because the internet happened and so many people that are really bad at it started to do it, it became cringe. Well, Lila from Dexter, yeah, but she pulls it off, though. See, it's one thing to pull it off, and the girl in this movie, unfortunately, doesn't really pull it off all that well. Like, it's one thing to pull it off, and another thing to, like, be really trying hard to pull it off.
And they didn't, like, fully invest in the romance either. Like, she just starts randomly calling him baby at some point, but they never kiss or anything.
It's implied that they're, like, broken up.
Yeah.
They dated before, and then, like, they broke up or some shit in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's not, yeah.
It's, like, half. they couldn't decide if they wanted to actually make it a romance angle or not.
Right. Well, because one of the things about that type of girl is she's not gettable.
Yeah.
Because she's not interested in it. She's above, like, base sexuality and shit. Is just, I'm over that. You know, I fucked around in middle school and I got that out of my fucking system. It's just so weird. It plays so weird now. But it was, I remember it being really desirable. There are movies where it's like, I'm trying to remember the name of it. There was a movie with, who's the girl that married Tom Cruise and had kids with him? Somebody on the chat will know.
Yeah.
Not Nicole Kidman. The other one.
He's had so many.
The new one. Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
Katie Holmes. She was in a movie, Disturbing Things or something like that. I can't remember the name of the fucking movie, but it was basically the movie. She played a girl that was like that. Super attractive, but dark and unapproachable, and isn't interested in...
They make bangs, like, part of that, don't they?
Oh, yeah. The harshness of, like, the way that they either appear as, like, a tomboy, like, super tomboyish, the pixie cut. It's what you call it. I've heard it described as manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah.
And that type of thing doesn't really sell as much. Well, I guess it does. It's just taken a different form. Now it's like girls doing this anime shit. Yeah. But it's still the manic, you know what I mean? They put on the fucking blue hair.
Like tomboy, or it's like the long, straight hair,
yeah.
Bangs, and fucking...
Yeah, and the aloof attitude, the unapproachability, the insinuation of a dark past, so there's damage there. All of that. Think Ali Sheedy in the Breakfast Club, right? Ali Sheedy's character was probably the template for the manic pixie dream girl trope. But it really caught on in the 90s. That's because all of us horny fucking kids in the 90s grew up watching the Breakfast Club and falling in love with Ali Sheedy.
Would you say that Angelina Jolie's character in Hackers fits that?
Oh, fuck yeah, to a T. Yeah. Angelina Jolie's character in Hackers, 100% manic pixie dream girl. Ramona Flowers, but it's actually called out in that movie. It's like a trope.
A parody.
Yeah, that's right. She even says to him, "I can't be your manic pixie dream girl," or whatever the fuck. But yeah, Ramona Flowers shit. And that aesthetic has morphed, but it still sells. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I think my favorite characters in Final Destination are those two FBI agents.
Yeah, they were
a good little team.
Yeah, they were pretty good. It's not usual that the FBI agents are anything more than just like hard asses or whatever. Yeah. They were kind of good. I don't know if that really remains.
Yeah. They had like a dynamic where it's like not necessarily good cop, bad cop, but like aloof cop, serious cop or something.
Yeah, for sure. It's weird fetishizing types of personalities. You have to understand that like some people come at it from that perspective. Like, I think a lot of like, and this is getting into a fucking topic that could go on, and I don't know that I necessarily want to, but to touch on it a little bit, I think a lot of incels are that way, right? I think a lot of incels are dudes that have built up this image of a woman in their mind based on an amalgam of like movies and animes and different things, different traits that maybe don't exist as a total out there in the world. And they've built up this unattainable standard that's made even more unattainable by how little they do to improve themselves. You know what I mean? And so it's a self-fulfilling type of prophecy, right? I know that when I was a kid, that sort of thing was definitely being pushed on little boys. I don't think it was being pushed to the point that it was now, but like the women that I idolized when I was a kid were these supermodel types, right? So the supermodel aesthetic was really popular when I was a kid, less so now, I think. There's more of a crossover now, like popular musicians are now supermodels.
Yeah. The Nicki Minaj's.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
But for me, it was like Cindy Crawford and Tyra Banks. It went back in the 90s when she was actually doing modeling work and not crazy reality TV shows and shit. Yeah. But I had a poster of Tyra Banks in my room. I had a poster of Cindy Crawford just in bikinis or in fucking swimsuits or whatever, and that was the unattainable ideal that was pushed on little boys back then. You're gonna find a woman that's like 5'10" with legs that go like from here to the ceiling, you know what I mean? Perfectly proportioned and perfectly this, and with a face and a beauty mark and the whole. It was just there was if I go back and I look at those pictures now, they're not even really all that attractive to me. I mean, there's a little bit of like, whoa, nostalgia from when I was a little boy, but other than that, it's like, I don't really see what it was. But when I was young, it was a super powerful aesthetic that was pushed.
And like the current like curvy aesthetic isn't even like really curvy. It's like they want you to have a giant ass, but also have a perfectly flat stomach at the same time.
And a tiny little waist.
Yeah, which some women have that.
Some people,
but
yeah,
people, you don't get the big ass unless you get a little tummy in the front too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just I don't know, man. But it always has been. If you look at Cindy Crawford, she was proportioned in a way that, that's how women got to be supermodels.
Yeah, it's like
is that
all
they
have
had
to
this,
do is have that perfect genetic makeup and shit.
Right.
Be willing to tolerate
they had
industry and then
they all had this like list of things. Super high facial symmetry. You take a picture of Cindy Crawford straight on. The only thing that lets you know which side it is her beauty mark that she had on her lip here, which was once again like kind of a holdover. It's something that had lost steam, but when she showed up with one, it made her stand out. Like, oh my God, she's like one of the old French women with the beauty mark.
It's like you got to look like everyone else in the modeling industry except for like one thing.
That helps.
Yeah.
So Tyra Banks was black at a time,
the same as
right?
All the other models.
She was proportioned exactly like the white models were, but had a different aesthetic. She wasn't the first black supermodel, but that was her thing. That's why she stood out. Insane facial symmetry, insane body proportions,
Her smile.
with long legs. You have to have a perfect look. And most people aren't born with that. You know what I mean? Having insane facial symmetry left to right is actually really uncommon.
Women being as tall as supermodels are is really
Yeah,
uncommon.
5'10", 5'11", 5'12". Well, 5'12" would be 6 foot, but you get my drift.
Like someone like under 5'9" wouldn't even really have a chance. Honestly.
And there are different layers within the supermodeling thing too. There's like the Cindy Crawford aesthetic, which is the big, tall, lanky, thin breasts, but very compact, have long legs thing. And then there's the like Twiggy thing,
The wispy.
the Kate. What was her name? Kate Moss
Yeah.
in the 90s. Literally like flat, like a hanger. Just like everything draped off of them, wispy, but still super tall. Gaunt almost. And like those two aesthetics did a lot of damage to young women. And a lot of damage to young men, I assume, by putting these like unattainable beauty ideals out into the world. Yeah, heroin. Well, they used to call it heroin chic in the 90s. Well, before the 90s, actually. Started with Twiggy.
Yeah, I remember we were watching a little bit of Top Model, and it's like their definition of like a plus size model is someone that was like a size 8 or 10 or something.
Like not an ounce of fat on them, just proportioned with bigger tits.
Or a bigger ass.
Yeah, I've got a bigger ass than your normal model does, and so I'm plus sized. It's like, what? Yeah, I mean that it really is interesting when you break down like I think that a lot of it is behind the incel ideology, which is why I think it's interesting to talk about like this whole idea that, because you know that these dudes are sitting around watching, a lot of them like anime, right? And anime, I've seen enough of it to know that it also produces this unattainable aesthetic, right?
And they all have giant legs too.
Yeah, and giant eyes and perfect proportions and all of this shit, right? And it creates this aesthetic, not just with the way they look, but with the way they act. There's an anime version.
Jump.
Yeah.
Bounce thing.
Cuteness, like kawaii, being super fucking cute and having little Japanese things and having little quirks to their personality, or being very stoic. Like a lot of the waifu material type of girls are the anti that. They're not cute. They're not cuddly. They're like super stoic and and fucking dismissive and super
they
fucking
have, like the goth animation.
right. And they've got their hair like covering one eye, when they walk around, and they're like, they only like, the tsundere. That's what they call. Yeah. So they're just very angry, and then they've got the bubbly ones. You know what I mean? And like that creates this expectation that you're going to find a chick that acts like that. And no chick, for a lot of people, I mean, I guess there are probably women in Japan that act like that or have some of those aesthetics.
Or any woman that does act like that is already fucking taken because so many dudes want that.
Maybe, yeah. They're definitely not out there looking for a dude that's like in incel land, Yeah. But it's just not something you're gonna find, and so you're going out there with just an unfindable thing and failing to find it, and then blaming society for it.
Yeah, it's like you go out looking for like a type when it's like if you've never dated before, you don't even know what your type even is.
Yeah.
Like you have a general idea, but it's like you don't know what personality actually meshes with yours until you go out and date someone.
Right. Huh.
It's like, I mean, looking back now, it's like you might have been fantasizing over someone like Tyra Banks, but you and Tyra Banks wouldn't get the fuck along.
I don't know. Maybe she was looking for a pudgy, awkward little kid,
No, I just mean like personality-wise. Like she's fucking a little bit psycho.
Yeah, she's insane. She's insane. And then like I look at like how Cindy Crawford's life turned out, and she just like became like a mother of 8 or some shit.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, not looking for that either. So it's a good thing I didn't go out into the world. I'll tell you what, dude. A lot of what I look for initially in somebody was developed not by media celebrities or whatever, but by like people I knew. And so it's like the first little girlfriend I had was an Italian chick, super Italian. And so I look for that. Like that's something that is a super attractive thing to me. My second girlfriend also Italian. My first wife, Italian. You starting to see a pattern?
Second wife, a little Italian.
Second wife, Italian. I can't deny the truth.
Do you want a Furio?
A,
Is that too Italian?
a Furio. He's a little too masculine. like a more Twinkie Furio. Mamma mia. I get a whiff of that red sauce and I just can't. It's over. The gravy.
Dude, I gotta drag you to meet my grandma.
Yeah.
Soon.
Is she gonna like that I like Italians?
She's very proper. Like she'd always have to do like a very like traditional Italian dinner with like the right number of sides, and everyone had to eat salad at the end
Sick.
because it was a palate cleanser.
Fuck yes. Yes, mamma mia, papa pia. Baby got the diarrhea. Oh man, I want it. No, it's just true though. Like, and then there were some little like bumps in the road there that I wouldn't call like relationships, but chicks that I was infatuated with or whatever, and all of them fit that aesthetic. All of them. There's only really one outlier in all of this. Italianos. I just happened to grow up in a place where there was a lot of Italian immigration too.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of Italian girls. Catholic girls. Dude, there was this chick, I remember. Dude, I was so in love with her. She was my next door neighbor. And I was a freshman, and there was just no way I was getting her. But my dad had these walkie-talkies, and I gave one to her. And she talked dirty to me one night over the walkie-talkie. Not super, like just we're pretty innocent shit. But it was enough to get me all fucking worked up. And then I thought that meant something, and it meant nothing, dude.
You got
It was,
zoned hard.
dude, it was my first taste of like, I was just horny, and you were just there, you know? I was like, what? You can do that?
Friend zone Paul.
Hard friend zone, dude. The next door. Yeah. The girl next door. Breakups as a kid. Oh my God, yeah, dude.
Well, yeah, you have this short little life to compare it to.
Yeah, you're like, God damn it, nothing will ever happen. You think of yourself as a grandpa still lusting after, your first little girlfriend from middle school or something. Just fucking absurd. People are so dramatic too, because there's so many like hormones, going when you're in fucking middle school and high school that like, dude, everything is over the top.
Yeah.
And so it's not only you freaking out, but like I remember breakups happening and shit where like literally that girl and all the girls' friends would be crying at lunch.
Yeah.
And it was totally normal. We'd be like, oh, what happened? Oh, so-and-so broke up with her. I was like...
See, everyone would get fucking snippy and take sides.
Oh, yeah, dude. There would be like... People would like hear the story, and it was always a game of telephone, too. Dude, I heard Sam told fucking John, told fucking Andy, who told fucking Tammy to tell me that he was cheating on her. You know what I mean? And who knows if that's true?
Yeah.
But there would be these like two little cabals at school. Oh my goodness.
And then, of course, a lot of them were like stuck in the same class together.
Yeah, that's true. That was uncomfortable. Sometimes there were just these little clashes too that would happen, like these little like lash outs. I was the subject of one of those one time. One of my proudest moments. Not to brag, but I was the subject of a public lash out between two girls, dude. Fuck yeah. In high school. That would not be cool now. But in high school, that was a mark of honor, dude. It happened. It was a thing that happened. Here's so-and-so and so-and-so fought over Paul. Fucking dude, my fucking stock went up. My stock went up that day.
You were lucky that was before, like, fucking Snapchat and shit. There are people, like, if someone sent nudes, like, to another boy in school, those nudes just went...
Oh, dude, I never saw a fucking nude. Yeah. There were rumors of a Polaroid or two or whatever the fuck. You know what? The closest this is going to sound so fucking gross. The closest I got to a nude of a chick was there was a dude that I was friends with who was dating this chick. And he had this guitar pick that he had put in her pussy at some point as proof. And people, like, I sniffed it. We all sniffed it. In biology class, no doubt. Because we all wanted to know. It was like, oh, okay. I smell what she's working with. That's almost worse than a nude. Yeah. He took her pussy juice around on a pick and let people smell it. He had a guitar pick. And dude, I'm telling you, it smelled like butterscotch. You knew where that was. Yeah, it smelled like one. There was no doubt where that had been. That's creepy. That's fucking teenage boys in the 90s, bro.
Yeah. Did you ever have like a list scandal where like someone made a list in the bathroom, like ranking the hotness of chicks and shit?
I don't think so.
No, that was a big thing at one point. I think
listing?
My freshman year, like a list of like ranking the hottest girls within the bathroom. It started a whole fucking thing.
Dude.
Where people were ranked on the fucking list.
High school's a nightmare.
I feel like I had a more chaotic high school experience than you did.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends.
Like, I think middle school was probably even crazier. Like, I don't think you have anything to match my bathroom fire story.
For middle school? No.
Someone just set like a trash can in the bathroom on fire and wanted to leave.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Something did happen. Somebody did release something in the bathroom one time. I don't remember what it was. Like bleach or some shit. They dumped a bunch of concentrated bleach in the bathroom off of one of the carts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shit like that happens.
And then there was the poisoning for the teacher in elementary school.
Yeah, somebody poisoned a teacher. That never happened. Never happened where I came from. There's just some crazy shit, dude. What do you want to do? Like, somebody asked, like, how did he come across, like, an opportunity to put a guitar pick in her pussy? And I was like, my thought process behind it at the time was, well, that's what he's known for. He was the bass player in our band, so that's what he did. Yeah, he played guitar and bass. Saying a bass player got laid, dude. He was easily the most attractive dude in our group, easily by a country mile. He had a beard in high school. That's all you need to know. And back then, having a full beard like this would have been lame. He had a goatee, though. Like a long-ass goatee, no mustache. That was hot back in the day. But no, he's a guitar pick. He played guitar, too. He played bass in our band. You didn't have a beard yet? Dude, I couldn't grow a beard until, like a full beard that would grow all the way in. I had like mutton chops in high school. But this whole goatee shit didn't meld together until I was in my like mid-20s. What do you mean story doesn't line up? What doesn't line up about the story?
He just fucking had a guitar pick and just maybe like fingered her with it or whatever.
Yeah. It's like,
You don't think someone like fucking teenagers first having sex would be down for weird shit like that?
dude, the chick that he got with, who knows, bro? Like, it doesn't, like, you think it sounds completely ridiculous, but what if he was just like, let me put a guitar pick in your pussy? She'd let him do it. So next time I play, I can smell you.
Fucking teenage girls
Whatever.
fall for all kinds of stupid shit.
Dude, fucking everybody does. Who knows? But it was show enough authentic. Let's just put it that way. You just have to understand, bro. Like, cringe had not been invented yet. Well, it had, but it didn't have a name and an explanation yet. Like, so edgelordism and shit was way more tolerable back in the 90s. You know what I mean? It was way more normal. Normalized, I guess. Maybe she was cool with it. I assume she was. I assume he didn't force a guitar pick into her pussy. They dated for like ever after that. They were on again, off again forever after that.
Yeah, I feel like you would have like heard her screaming like in the hallways or something if she didn't care for it. He tried to fucking stick a car pick up in that pussy and I just fucking slapped him in the face.
No, dude. She didn't care. Like, that wasn't a story that went far and wide either. Yeah. It wasn't like something that like the whole fucking town sniffed. You know what I mean? There was a core group of us dudes that got to sniff the butterscotch pick, as we used to call it. Oh boy. Just one of the crazy things that happened. Kids are gross. Yeah, I guess so. The butterscotch pick, bro. It happened. What do you want? What are you gonna do? Yeah.
There was like the dick incident too, where like the talk of fucking class that day, the whole school day, was how big one dude's dick was.
That happened too at mine.
I was like, I saw this dude's dick. It was huge, man. It was fucking insane.
Yep, that happened too. There was a dude that fucking like he got that reputation. He was in my same year too. He was a freshman when I came in as a freshman. And he had a dick that you could beat a fucking elephant to death with. It was huge. And it got out that he had a huge dick, and I assume it probably helped him. Like, I don't know. He didn't really travel in the same social circle as I did, but I don't think he had much trouble, you know, getting a girl or whatever. Or whatever he was into. I didn't know the guy very well, but I did see his dick, and it was huge. It was fucking grandiose.
Like, you didn't even have to fucking see it in the urinal to know it was big. It just
I saw it the first day of fucking school.
Yeah, it was just fucking.
We dressed out.
Yeah.
After fucking, we dressed out for PE. I didn't see it then. After PE, we showered out. The only time I went into the shower, that dick scared me out of the shower. I went in there and I looked at it, and it was just enormous. He's just this like big corn pone looking white dude, and he had a fucking dick like this. And I was just like, I never showered again after PE. Never. That literally scared me out of the fucking shower for life. And he knew it too. He would like walk out of the shower with it swinging with the fucking towel whipped over his shoulder to his locker, and it's like, Too much big dick energy was coming out of that fucking shower for me to go in there.
At least you had the opportunity to shower.
Yeah, that's true. But it was kind of gross, though. It was like shower stalls that a bunch of teenage boys used probably 9 times a
Better than
day.
having to walk around the rest of the day sweaty as shit.
I guess that's true.
Like, I had PE like second period or something, so I just had to be stuck with it all day.
I had first period, and I'm telling you, dude, I walked around in my funk rather than deal with that dick. I couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. Too much wiener. So I contributed to that. Because I heard that shit through the grapevine, right? I heard so-and-so has a fucking huge dick. And I was like, bro, I can attest. Saw that shit back in freshman year, and I'm not even fucking joking. He scared me out of the shower with that motherfucker. It was huge. Oh my God, you saw it? Yeah, we showered out. He fucking walked out with a towel over his... Yes, I saw it. Yes.
Dude, maybe he's a porn star.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, you never do know. Maybe he did go that route. He definitely had the equipment for it.
Yeah. You'd have to like actually go to like a high school reunion to probably find that out, though.
No. There's too many people that I did dirty that I just don't want to walk into, like bump into. You know what I mean? Like high school was a dirty time, and everybody did everybody dirty in high school. And there was a couple of people like, you know what killed it for me? The chick that ended up, because you have your first reunion at 10 years. And my 10-year reunion was a while ago, like way back. The chick that was like became in charge of like organizing it is a chick that I did dirty, and I know I'm gonna have to see her there.
Yeah.
And then who the fuck else? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't even really like it. Was well, okay. I kind of did her really dirty, so let me see if I can explain. There's no way I can explain that makes me look like a good guy. Okay.
This is teenage Paul, though.
Yeah, teenage Paul did this. Okay, so there's a girl, and I don't want to fuck on her, but she was big in high school. Not just like thick, big, but big, right? And she had a crush on me, and I did not have a crush on her. And there's a dance in some high schools. It's called the Sadie Hawkins dance. In our high school, it's called the backwards dance. But it's all the same shit. It's the girls ask out the guys, right? And so I had no date to this thing. I really wasn't even planning on fucking going to it. And she asked me out to it. And I made up some absurd story about, I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I just can't. My family's going camping. I'm going to be gone that weekend. It's on that Saturday or whatever, and I'm just going to be out of town, and I'm sorry, I can't do it. She was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And went on about her business, and I went on about mine. I was like, phew. And then, like, literally 2 days later, a chick that I thought was pretty cute asked me to fucking dance. And I was like, yeah, I'll go with you.
Did she go alone and see you?
She took one of her female friends and went. Like, so she went Dutch with another girl that couldn't get a date. And she saw my ass coming in. I fucking walked in, and there was a booth where right after you came in, you could take the picture. Yeah. And she was standing on the grass across from me as I took the picture, dude.
Like, looked her in the eyes and shit.
I know, but I could feel her eyes on me. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. Oh my goodness. I gotta find that picture. I know my mom has it. That picture, you can tell.
You can see a little flicker of fear.
I look like Joe Biden. I got that, like, deer in the headlights thing.
Dude, I 100% regret going to prom. Because I didn't have anyone to go with, and, like, I fucking had to fork out, like, $300 or something for it.
Yeah, that's...
And had a bad time and I just wanted to leave as soon as possible, and I went with a bunch of other girls and they all had fucking shit going on, and I just like, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even like drink or anything after. It was just like go to the prom and then go home.
Dude, I had the worst prom experience too, so I can fucking totally relate to that. And you think like the fact that I had somebody to go with might make mine better? No, it was the worst fucking shit. So I went with the girl that I was all fucking Twitter pated over for most of high school. And we got there. I took her out somewhere. I took her to fucking Olive Garden, right? Prior to the whole thing. So it was like a date thing. That was like what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to pick the girl up, take her to dinner, and then take her out dancing afterwards. That's the prom. And so we got to the prom, we took our pictures, we sat down with our group of friends. She immediately started saying, like, I don't feel really good. And I was like, ooh, okay, all right. And she goes, no, it's cool. You go mingle or whatever. I'm just going to chill here for a minute. I came back to the table, and I literally got to be at the prom for like 10 minutes, enough to like walk around and say hi to a few people that weren't sitting with us and shit, listen to a couple of songs. And then I came back to my table and she was like, I have to leave, I'm sick. And I was like, what are you going to say? No?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's go. And I literally took her to her house. She got out of the car without saying anything, basically like good night or whatever, went inside. Wasn't like she was throwing up or anything either. So I don't know what she was sick.
Maybe her period or something.
Yeah, but you would think that somebody at the fucking place had a fucking...
No, I mean, like, sometimes cramps could be that bad where it's just like...
Maybe, but...
Because, like, I knew girls, like, literally called in sick to school because their cramps were so bad, so I assume that's what it was. Like, she was just getting really bad cramps.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. That never really entered my thought process back then. But you're probably right. But anyway, from my perspective, she was just like, I'm sick, I have to go home. And I was like, okay. I took her home. She barely said 2 words to me the whole way home. I dropped her off at her house and walked her to her door, and she was like, good night, and just walked inside, and I went home, and that was it. That was my prom experience. And I was out of pocket about what you were, because I bought the boutonniere and the corsage and bought the fucking pictures, and I did all that shit. Bought the dinner. So I was probably out all told about what you paid. Adjusted for inflation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it was just a shit night. So I'm anti-prom, though. I've had nothing but bad experience. Well, no, I tell you what. Outside of what I just said, that Sadie Hawkins dance was a hoot.
Yeah.
It was fun. They held it at like this shitty little amusement park in Fresno that's adjacent to the zoo. It sounds horrible, but it was a fun little prom, dude. They sealed that whole place off. It had a zipper in it, had a bunch of rides in it, and it was just like a carnival for all of us. And so the only problem is that I kept seeing that girl I did dirty there. And then now she heads up the fucking committee that whatever puts together our shit. So our 20 years coming around.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that already happened.
Fuck.
Maybe there's a 25 year?
30.
30, yeah.
I won't get that shit for another few years.
I don't know if I would go to mine or not.
2028 is my 30. Think she's still mad at you? I kind of would be if I got done that way by somebody and then just never apologized to or anything, because I just avoided her for the rest of my school year. It happened my like junior year. I think it was actually my senior year. And so I didn't have a whole lot hanging over my head in terms of interaction with her further. So I went with the old ignore it and pretend it didn't happen routine. I mean, I doubt it. She's fucking married. She has kids. I doubt she's still angsty with me about it. It's never too late to apologize. Then why did they write that song? It's too late to apologize. Why does that song exist if it's never too late to apologize? I think it might be too late to apologize sometimes.
Yeah, the fact that you still remember it means she probably still remembers
Oh, she
it.
100% remembers it, bro. She remembers. You don't forget shit like that from either side. Unless I was a dick. Because, like, here's the thing. That's a standout thing on my fucking... I wasn't like that. I didn't do that to a lot of people. In fact, she's the only person I ever did that to. And so that's a standout moment in my history, so I remember it, and it's got to be for her, too. That's got to suck, bro. Dude, that's mean. Send her a box of Twinkies. Dude, I don't even know if she's still fat. Yeah, actually, that's not true. She is. At least the last time I went Facebook creeping.
Yeah. And then, oh, I can't even imagine, like, if you brought me for some reason, it would just be like, everyone would be like, oh my God, Paul's with somebody younger than him. Oh my God, Paul's with somebody.
Oh my God, dude. There's no way I would go there without you.
Yeah.
But you're right. That
all
even
it would be.
just whispers Macmillan.
Yeah.
Can we age you up?
Put me in like some old age makeup shit. Put a fat suit on.
Yeah, put a fat suit on you. Gray up your hair.
Yeah.
Thin it out a little bit.
That's what would happen. Like, we'd show up, and then everyone would be like nice at first, and be like, oh my God, oh my God.
Ugh. Just when they saw, dude, if I went alone, I would cause that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm so weird looking now in comparison to what like. Most people probably wouldn't even know who I was until they asked. And then they would be shocked when I told them. I've shown you guys pictures of me from high school. Dude, I looked like fucking Toad without his hat on.
And just so unlike a lot of these people that just went into the fucking picket fence 2.5 kid's life.
Yeah, well, a lot of them still look like exactly how they looked in fucking high school. Like my friend Waylon, he looks exactly like he looked in high school. Mm-hmm. Dude hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. And it's just like me. I don't look anything like I looked in high school. I also don't act anything like I acted in high school, and so that's one of the reasons why I've just been like, why the fuck do I want to go back to that? Like, it was a good time. Like, I'm not going to say I actually enjoyed my high school years in general, but it's not something I want to go revisit. Mm-hmm. The people that I went to high school with that I care about enough to talk to, I'm still in contact with in some way, shape, or form, and the rest of them can kick rocks. Because you know who else would be there? Yeah. County Water Supervisor Brett Frazier.
Yep.
The last time I bumped into that fuck, I was working. He came wandering into an assembly or something, because at that point he was like the interim mayor of Madera. And he was there, and he saw me, and he gave me the... I gave him one back. Because he's the mayor.
Yeah.
Fuck. If I insult the mayor, I'm fired. People still comment on his video about you. I know he's seen that shit too. So the next time I run into him, it's going to be real awkward. Because he's going to know, dude. He's going to know.
If there's drinks, imagine you did go to a 30-year reunion and there's drinks.
Oh my God, there's always drinks. Yeah.
He's gonna like bow up or something.
Yeah, dude, he wants to fight me. No, I don't know. I doubt he would want to fight me, but...
I don't know, you get some drinks in him.
He was just such a fucking douchebag. I just don't want to, Yeah. There's a bunch of people like him that I went to high school with. I'm just not interested. He awkwardly apologizes. Will you accept it? I don't even want that.
I just don't want him.
That's the thing. It's too late to apologize. Like, I'm going to hate him forever no matter what. I just had,
Yeah, and then your hate amplified the more power he gains.
Yeah. Lord Provosts? No, dude, we don't. It's not your fault that video exists. How did he look at that video to prove it? I will never know. I don't know, bro.
I mean, I assume it wasn't his idea. He just participated in it. You don't want to be like the mean mayor and be like, that's fucking stupid, I'm not doing it.
I don't know. Knowing him, I think he probably had a hand in that shit. Because he was like, he was a football player in high school. But he was one of the football players. I've told you guys this, and it was really weird. The social situation at my school was crazy because theater was huge at my school. It wasn't like a theater target school or anything. It was just a place that had a theater department that was really widely renowned. They won competitions statewide and national. So it was a big deal. And so instead of it being like a bunch of nerds, like it was at a lot of people's schools, it was really well regarded. Like people, like cool, all the cool kids wanted to be in theater. Like the head cheerleader was in theater. All the football players tried out for the shows and tried to get like bit parts in it because it was great to be in them. They were fun. And so that put me in a weird social situation because I was a theater nerd, but theater was cool. So, tee-hee. I found a way to be nerdy and cool at the same time. I was a cool nerd. Not quite cool enough to get laid, but just shy.
Dude, all the theater kids did fucking running starts. They weren't even in high school. They all like went to the community college all day.
Yeah.
Because the theater thing was like, it was a private thing. There wasn't like a school funded thing, so.
Yeah, see, we had a huge, like, because the school would benefit from it. People from the community would buy tickets, and that funded the theater department. That was a lot of the theater department's funding. And so it made sense for the school to have it because the school got to do concession stands there and take a little piece of the fucking door and all of that. So it was actually a really, and we won a lot of fucking competitions. A lot of competitions while I was in high school. Local competitions, dude, we would fucking stomp. And it had nothing to do with the fact that there were more talented kids here than there were there. It just had to do with this teacher. This teacher was so good at teaching young people how to get over their stupid preconceptions about what stage acting was and really like connect emotionally with the material. Even to the layer of having us connect emotionally with Shakespeare. She taught us how to read it and interpret it and see the scope of it as kids. And we were able to take that knowledge and go fucking blow people out of the water with it. Like I've told you guys this, and you can look it up. There's the Amador Shakespeare Festival in California, which people come from all over the country to participate in. Maybe it's not Amador. I'm thinking of another one. Chapman, the Chapman University Shakespeare Festival, which is a big target Shakespeare festival. We won it 3 years in a row. Freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. We won the main one, which was the 20-minute play or whatever. So you would do 20 minutes of a Shakespeare play with as big of a cast as you wanted and no restrictions on anything, really. We won it 3 years in a row. I was in all three. And they actually created a brand new rule because of our school that if you won it 3 years in a row, that you had to be the ceremonial guest or whatever the next year, which meant basically that you didn't get to compete, which we thought was the fucking stupidest shit. So my fucking senior year, we went there and blew doors on everybody and got our ceremonial guest plaque. But to this day, that rule exists in their high school competitive and college competitive environments. If you win 3 years in a row, your school has to take a knee basically the next year. You still get to compete, but you can't win anything. It's just like, just get better. was it reset after the ceremony year? Yes. But after that point, most of the kids have gone on to college and shit, you know what I mean? So it really, what it is, it denies kids like me the very rare but very prestigious opportunity to sweep their entire college year. Because that's what it would have meant. A lot of us felt like it was targeted not necessarily at our school, but at me and 2 other people specifically, because 3 of us were in every fucking year. We were the core group of like Shakespearean actors and shit. And so we would do these really great 3-4 person scenes. Whereas like these other schools would try and put on these giant, like, we've got 25 extras that we brought on a bus. We would show up with 6 of us and do real Shakespeare. We didn't try to do gimmicks. You know what one of the big gimmicks was when I was in school? Was it was after that Romeo and Juliet with fucking Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes came out. And they used guns instead of swords, but they still called them swords in the movie. And so they modernized the setting. They drove cars and blah, 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 blah. And so one year, it was so sad. Every school was doing, maybe there was one that actually did a scene from Romeo and Juliet, but every school was doing like, King Lear, but what if they had guns? I was just like, we just did Shakespeare. We just showed up and did period Shakespeare and won every fucking year. But they denied us the right to, or well, not the right, but you know, the opportunity, because they didn't want to have to like give us fake judges. They didn't want to have to do it implicitly, so they did it explicitly. My high school marching band basically had the same thing with Portland Starlight Parade. They disqualified us after 3 first places in a row for BS reason to stop us winning so much. Yeah. Which I can understand, like the other schools that participated in that probably had a lot to do with that ruling being made because they were probably bitching. But it's like, if we're doing better Shakespeare, their response should be do better Shakespeare. We don't accept bribes. Nobody's paying us to fucking make our judges are all not connected with the school in question, and they weren't. It's like, fuck you. There were different judges every year. Every year they had like faculty judges and then judges that would come from other places to judge, and we won. They already had a system in place that should have kept somebody from winning if they didn't deserve it, and we deserved it. And so we didn't even go the 4th year. Not in a major way. We went and showed our scene. And we did a scene from 12th Night. I played Sir Toby Belch. And we went on and we won a bunch of other festivals with that same scene, and we showed it that year. And it was like bittersweet, I guess. It felt good to go and be better than everybody, but it felt bad to have to sit and watch somebody else that did a shitty. Because I wasn't involved in anything else, I watched everybody else's shit. Wasn't doing any monologues, wasn't involved in any 2-man scenes. Usually I was so busy I didn't get a chance to watch anybody's shit. It was boo-boo. And that's on them. It wasn't like just the stars aligned and a bunch of uniquely talented people were born in a shitty little cow town. It was that we had a really good teacher who actually got us to emotionally connect with Shakespeare and not just read it. So, whatever.
Dude, I wonder if they made like new scholarship rules after you got yours.
That was a little miniature scandal, and it's one of the reasons why my theater teacher doesn't really like me anymore, because she put her ass on the line for me. She went to the fucking head of the theater department and got them to give me a second chance, and I blew it. So it's like I blew the first chance. She put her ass on the line with somebody who at her alma mater who she knew and went to school with for me, and I blew it off. One of those things.
What are you gonna do? You didn't ask her to do that.
No, I didn't, but she did it anyway. And that's, I can understand the sting of that, but she's not a big fan of mine, and so that it's kind of sucks, but it doesn't change her in my eyes and in like esteem. She was really an important person in my life at a very vulnerable part of my life, and I've just kind of given up on being involved with her. Kind of sucks, but I'd rather keep the memory than. She doesn't hate. No. She doesn't hate watch me or anything. I'm not trying to imply that at all. She's just aware of what I've done, like career-wise. And every time that I've gone to see her, she scolds me.
You could be doing something better.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I've seen her in person a few times before I decided to, like, stop doing this. To, like, stop seeing her. You know what I mean? She's like, you could be... She just wants to remind me that I didn't go to college, basically. What do you do when she says that to me? I'll just say, well, I didn't. I'm sorry. Well, you should go back to school. You can go back to school any year, dude. I know somebody. Blah blah blah. She'll give me that whole spiel, and I'm like, I know, but it's not for me. It's cool though. Thank you. I still do. I wish I could tell her, like, I still draw from your influence all the fucking time. But
she's just kind of boomery too. She's like, if you're not on stage, you're not being an actor or whatever. If you're not in movies,
right.
You're not being an actor.
Mm-hmm. A very famous person came out of our theater department, Audra Mcdonald. You can look her up. She was a super famous Broadway actress. I think she was actually in a couple of mainstream movies. And that's like the standard for a super talented person in our area. But yeah, Audra Mcdonald came out of the same theater department that I did, got the same training that I did, went to the same CISA program that I went to, where I met Michael Fields and was trained there, did that same shit, took the same route I went to Fresno State, same shit, and ended up on Broadway. So that the standard for what she expects from her talented kids, pretty fucking tip-top shit.
Yeah, so you probably won't see her again unless you wing your way into a Broadway show or something.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Even then, she'd probably be like, you could be in more Broadway.
You want me to check?
He probably just wants to come out here.
Yeah. I do.
D wants attention. It's like I'm inside. Come on, let me out. Is he throwing a fit? Maybe. And he'll come out here and he'll be all like, he'll be cold in a minute. Well, I gotta end this probably pretty soon. It's been fun though. A good turnout tonight. Good energy. Fun stuff. I like telling old stories.
Yeah. I guess I kind of have that experience with some of my old teachers too. Like, I got the look of concern and disappointment at my graduation from one of the teachers. Like, the fucking, like, hold your hand and, like, try giving a pep talk and shit.
Yeah. It's sad to see you don't live up to, but those people have different expectations than like a parent would, and that's kind of the problem, is that I looked up to her as almost like a surrogate parent. That's why she was like so accessible, and why I was so accessible to her, and why she could work so well with me in theater. But once you've graduated out of her class, there's a new crop of kids that she's giving that very same attention to, and if you're not doing what she expected of you, she doesn't really care to see you. You know? Now Cricket's in there having a fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
Mom, 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 mom.
He's been a little naughty boy lately, being extra with the TV.
Yeah, Yeah, he likes jumping up on the little TV stand and like standing there right in front of the TV while we're watching it.
Yeah, and fucking like egging us too. Like he'll like gear up to jump on the TV and be like, "No, don't do it."
Or when we give him the pss, 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 get on, he'll just like freeze up, like no. Like you have to go pick him
or
up.
like, and like the second you pick him up, he'll like do it again. It's like, fucker, don't do it again. It's like, I'm gonna do it again. Don't do it again.
He's
I'm
such
gonna do
a.
it again.
I'm starting to think he might be a cat.
Yeah.
No, anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. It's been fun. I'll see you guys next time.